Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Israel has threatened Hamas terrorists with consequences you can't imagine if all remaining hostages aren't freed. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent out the powerful warning to the thugs in Gaza just days after the first phase of the ceasefire officially expired. The Palestinian group still have around 59 of the 251 hostages they first kidnapped with brute force during the horrors of October 7. Only 24 are believed to be alive still, with another 35 bodies also expected to be returned for official burials by Israel. Terms for a second phase of the crucial ceasefire agreement are yet to be hashed out, with the latest deal being rejected by Hamas. In response, Israel blocked the entry of all humanitarian aid into Gaza, with Netanyahu saying he was left with no choice. If Hamas continues to refuse, then the PM has warned, there will be further consequences. Netanyahu made another ultimatum to the terror group on Monday when he spoke to Israel's parliament at a hearing on an inquiry into the October 7 terror attacks. He warned, "If you don't release our hostages, there will be consequences you can't imagine. We will not stop until we achieve all our victory objectives: the return of all our hostages, the destruction of Hamas's military and governing power, and ensuring Gaza will no longer pose a threat to Israel." Freed hostage Yarden Bibas, the dad of young murdered captives Kafir and Ariel, has now called on Netanyahu to take responsibility for failing to prevent the deadly massacre in 2023. Yarden wrote in a letter, which was read out at the hearing, "I won't get to hug my children and wife anymore." He added that the inquiry is needed to help prevent the next disaster. Over the weekend, Donald Trump's peace envoy, Steve Witkoff, proposed to extend the ceasefire for the next 50 days to include Ramadan and Passover. The deal would see half of the living and dead hostages released on the first day, with the rest released at the end if an agreement on a permanent ceasefire were reached. Hamas rejected the proposal as Israeli Defense Forces troops, tanks and warplane prepared to resume hostilities. In 2025, 33 Israeli captives were returned in the first phase of the ceasefire, including 8 bodies. 3 of the bodies returned to Israel included Shiri Bibas and her 2 young sons Kafir and Ariel. Last Thursday saw the family finally laid to rest as they held a touching funeral procession through Israel. Yarden led thousands of grief-stricken Israelis who lined the streets just days after their bodies were handed over by their Hamas captors. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a brutal surprise attack on Israel, marking one of the darkest days in the nation's history. Terrorists stormed across the border from Gaza, killing over 1,200 people, most of them civilians, and kidnapping 250 others, including women, children, and the elderly. The coordinated assault saw heavily armed fighters infiltrate Israeli towns, kibbutzim, and military bases, unleashing indiscriminate violence. Innocent families were slaughtered in their homes, and graphic footage of the atrocities spread across social media, leaving the world in shock. And as well as attacking people in their homes, they stormed the Nova Music Peace Festival, killing at least 364 people there alone. The massacre triggered a swift and massive retaliatory response from Israel, escalating into a full-scale war. The attack not only reignited long-standing tensions in the region, but also left deep scars on both sides of the conflict, setting the stage for the 15 months of devastation that followed.